Welcome to UC Tech Chat, where we talk business technology, unified communications, and more for small and medium businesses. I am your host, Brian Ferguson.
And I'm your co-host, Jason Mefford. Thank you for joining us.
So today, Jason and I will be kicking off a series on one of the fastest growing trends in our industry, business mobility. We'll talk about the challenges, the benefits of mobility, and we'll talk about some interesting use cases.
We're also excited to talk to Julie Webb, who will take some viewer questions in Julie's inbox. And then at the end of the show, we'll discuss some interesting trivia.
Great, let's get started.
Mobility has exploded over the last few years. New emerging technologies like improved smartphones, UC communications built into phone systems have given businesses a lot more options when it comes to mobility. It's empowering road warriors, telecommuters to break away from the office and be productive regardless of location. Mobility is more than just mobile phones. It's the ability to work from anywhere using multiple technologies. You can work from your home, your car, a hotel room, or the coffee shop. Flexibility is essential in today's work environment.
So businesses that are providing these flexible work options are growing like crazy. In fact, by the year 2016, 80% of companies will have some sort of mobile workforce. So let's take a look at some of the benefits that are driving that trend. So first we have cost savings. The number one cost savings that you're going to find are just saving in hardware. So no longer do you have to buy a lot of laptops and mobile phones for everybody. They can just bring their own device. So you save all up front from there. Secondly, we have facilities cost. So you may not have to provide any office space for anybody. So if they work from home, you'll be able to work from there with their own devices. You don't have to pay for the rent, the utilities costs, the coffee, and the donuts that this guy usually eats. You no longer have to pay for any of that.
Next, there's employee satisfaction and recruitment. Employees can now decide when, where, and how they want to work. The traditional 9 to 5 in an office or cubicle is no longer the case. Studies show that flexible work options improve job satisfaction and increases productivity.
So next we have disaster recovery. So if there's ever a disaster or a weather event, mobility can keep your business up and running. Employees can now work from home. If there's snow between them and work, they can be safe. They can have this exact same communication options from their house as they do from inside the building.
Lastly, mobility allows companies to provide the highest level of customer satisfaction possible. Owners and managers of businesses can be assured that clients, customers, or patients are going to receive service regardless of the situation. Maybe a receptionist has a sick child. She can still work remote via mobility. Same with a weather event. Mobility gives employees options to be able to access corporate resources and be productive with a weather event where they may be at home. Since all of those calls through mobility go through the phone system, owners and managers can also track who's being productive, who's using the phone, and keep tabs on those employees, including the guy that may work 1,000 miles away.
So as easy as Jason makes it sound, it's not all butterflies and rainbows with mobility. In fact, there's a big challenge with BYOD, or bring your own device. You have to be concerned with whose device is it, whose information is on there, who's going to pay for the unit. All those challenges are very important and need to be discussed, and we're going to spend an entire show on it next time on UC Tech Chat.
Other concerns as well, Brian mentioned, who pays the bill? Does the employee pay the bill? Does the company provide the cell phone? That's a consideration. Data connectivity as well. Do they have internet access and connectivity where they would like to work mobile? Proper access to internal systems. Is it secure? Do you have to worry about protecting internal resources? Tune in, as Brian mentioned, to following episodes to get more information on those topics.
All right, so let's play a little game. We're going to talk about use cases for mobility, rapid fire. You go first.
Sounds good. Let's start with the business executive. It's essential for the business executive to stay in contact regardless of situation. They travel a lot and they need constant access to staff, to customers, to other business executives, and even family. Mobility for the business executive is vital.
All right, so how about the IT guys? So the IT guy has to be all over the building. He has to help multiple people in multiple parts of the building, and so having a mobile device gives them the ability to help everybody. They can make calls, help handle the people that they're with in front of them, and a lot of times you can have the ability to transfer calls from their desk phone to their mobile phone, so they can take a call, go to somebody's office, and by the time that person's done explaining to it, they're standing over their shoulder.
How about the salesperson, appropriately named the road warrior? It's essential for them to be in contact regardless of their location. They're often working from the car, a hotel room, maybe they're traveling. They're always on the move and rarely in the office. It's critical for them to be able to be in contact. You also know that customers appreciate responsiveness, and having mobility at your fingertips allows you to be responsive to your customers, which is essential in today's business.
Great. So how about the physician? So doctors are often having to take calls outside of work hours. They get a call from the answering service and they need to call their patient. So they have to worry about, do I give my personal number out to my patients? You know, they definitely don't want that. So mobile applications provide the ability to publish their work or their work extension caller ID instead of their personal number ID, so that they can keep things personal and private.
You also have the teleworker. They need to be able to have access to all corporate resources while working remote. A teleworker of the past would typically have to have a laptop or a PC, in addition to a VPN device, usually a desk phone, all the hardware of the past. That is not the case with today's options. People have the option for mobility, and then with web-based applications like Salesforce and Gmail, they can typically access a lot of those resources without all of that hardware. The complex environment is not needed in today's business world, which gives teleworkers the flexibility to be very productive with minimal effort to get them set up.
Great, so let's talk about the snowed-in worker. So if I have snow between me and the office and the roads are closed, in the past, there's nothing I can do, I'm just going to have to miss work. Well, now you don't have to do that. You can turn on your device, get all the access to all the information that you had from your mobile phone, and from a communications perspective, you can get all the communications tools on your mobile phone that you ever had inside the building. So you can stay productive and up and running.
How about the my child is sick and I need to work from home worker? I personally have been this individual in the past, so I can definitely relate. It's very comforting to be able to work from home using mobility while keeping an eye on my sick child, but also be very productive. As I mentioned with the teleworker, mobility and web-based applications provide a lot of flexibility where you don't have to have all of the hardware of the past. You can be very productive without all of the effort to get initially set up. This type of flexibility improves job satisfaction and also cultivates a family-first work environment.
All right, great. So how about the car salesman? So in a car sales environment where the customers come and actually buy the cars, are out on the lot. That's where all the inventory is. So you want your salespeople to be there. But all the phones are inside. So when they have to go prospect and find new customers, they have to go inside, and now the customers aren't being helped. A mobile application gives them the ability to prospect and be where the customers are simultaneously.
How about the teacher? It's very common for the teacher to be moving between classrooms, be in the lunchroom, maybe be at PE, or maybe even be on a field trip. So having mobility for the teacher not only is important if the front office needs to call for access to a student or information from the teacher, but think about just the pure emergencies that may come up in a school environment. It's critical to have constant and immediate communication with your teachers, and mobility provides that.
Great. Well, thanks, Jason. That was really good. So as you can see, we covered several different mobility use cases, and there's many, many more. We just kind of got the tip of the iceberg. But now, let's take a visit to our favorite VoIP professional, Julie Webb, as she answers some user questions from Julie's inbox. Julie?
Thank you, Brian and Jason, and welcome everyone to Julie's inbox. Today's question comes from John C. He resides in Marion, Indiana, and he's asking today about, you guessed it, mobility. John's question is, what is the Find Me, Follow Me technology? Great question, John. Find Me, Follow Me is a unified communication industry feature that allows phone calls to follow users wherever they choose. It's a set of personal call rules for connecting a user's phone. This allows users to have incoming calls sent to their desk phone, mobile phone, home phone, or any other device. They can have those phones ring in a certain order, all at once, or not at all, and go straight to voicemail. Find Me, Follow Me reduces your chance of missing important calls by allowing you to take calls anywhere at any time. Thank you for the question, John. All right, Brian and Jason, mobility has come such a long way over the past several decades, so why don't you give us a little history lesson today about the history of modern mobility?
Wow, so you're coming out of the gate with that one, Julie. Great question. Well, luckily we've had some time to think about this. So Jason, what do you think of when you think about the history of mobility?
Well, when I think about the history of mobility, I think of 1934 and the two-way radio from Canadian-born engineer and mobile pioneer Al Gross. You may know it as the walkie-talkie, and it brought mobility communications to the battlefield and the workplace.
So then we have the Citizens Band Radio, or CB, in 1946. First made popular in the workforce by farmers and then the U.S. Coast Guard, but really made legendary by our 18-wheeling, gear-jamming brothers and sisters from the 70s. Oh, those were the days. It reminds me of being a suicide jockey in my boom wagon. You got your ears on?
Big 10-4, come on, this is the Bald Eagle.
Bald Eagle, this here's Roll Tide. Let's put the hammer down like a rocket sled on rails.
4-2 will stand on it.
Okay. Well, let's back them up to 1949. 1949 gives us another big one, the pager, first introduced to the workforce for physicians.
1956 brings us the MTA, the first mobile car phone. I can't believe it's been around that long, over half a century. That is just good style there.
That is. And amazing, it would be almost 20 years later in 1973 when we'd get our first mobile cordless phone. And you know, in the 1980s, car phones were actually significantly more popular than mobile phones.
Did you know that Martin Cooper, the engineer at Motorola that led the development team for the first mobile phone, the Dynatac, said that Captain Kirk's communicator on Star Trek inspired his invention?
So that makes perfect sense. Then in 1999, we come into the BlackBerry.
It started off as a pager, an interactive pager, and changed mobility in the workforce. And thumbs have never been the same since. About this time, we are seeing the dawn of the term unified communication.
Yes, and next in 2007, we have the next big breakthrough by Steve Jobs, the Apple iPhone. This ushered in the next generation, or the new generation, of smartphones, which really changed the entire landscape, the industry, and the mobile workforce forever.
Well, that does it until another device is invented to take mobility by storm. Any ideas what that may be, Brian?
None that I can legally speak of, Jason. So let us know what your favorite mobility devices are for the workplace. Tweet us at #UCTechChat. So for Julie, Jason, and myself, thank you for joining us this week, and join us for our next episode of UC Tech Chat.